as it is customary on a Monday, I've got the best of the lot. When you want news, Mazalamule for my co-host on a Mondays, yeah? And of course, if you want the decision made over the weekend, and it was the worst ever this season, refereeing decisions that I saw. The refereeing decisions, at least 3-4 penalties that we can talk about, yellow cards and red cards that should have been given, decisions that we need to get to the bottom of, because we're told that they went to, what is it called? Where did the referees go?
Mid-season workshop.
Mid-season workshop. What's the word he used, man?
He said something, man.
Where they were doing trivias and all of that.
Yeah, it's called mid-season workshop.
Well, here we are. The mid-season workshop doesn't seem to have worked.
A refresher course of some sort.
So hit us up and let us know what your thoughts are on the weekend, but also the news-making headlines, some huge ones. And I urge you, all of you that were so comfortable and chess boating and calling me names when I said at some point, Arsenal will Arsenal. They've begun the route to Arsenal. I told you by the time they meet Man City, it'll be either tied. I thought tied on points, but seemingly it's going to be a 1 point different. And by the time they meet Newcastle, which is going to be 3 games after that, I think, they will have lost the log lead. What do you make of what happened in the Premier League this past weekend? We'll talk the Nedbank Cup action. Kaizer Chiefs, they were excited. They celebrated at seeing that they've drawn Orlando Pirates. That was surprising to me. Very excited, Mazul.
Yeah, very excited. Excuse me. I mean, I can understand maybe to some degree. They've beaten Pirates 5 games in a row. So maybe the idea that if you're not playing so well, maybe some people are saying Kaizer Chiefs haven't been playing so well, although they are, fighting for their CAF Champions League spot. They have beaten Pirates 5 games in a row, and they've had the upper hand this season, and they've always put their best foot forward when they play Pirates. Perhaps they feel this is the performance that can finally lead them to breaking the drought, the trophy drought, that is. Should
Orlando Pirates even be in the semi-finals? We'll get to that because, the calls of Paseka Mako should have gotten a red card. There should have been a penalty. But also, over and above that, you take a look at that Dondol Stars. Anything and everything from the weekend. Do join us. Remember, we are live on social media, on Twitter, as well as on Facebook as well. So do watch the show live there. It's 16 after the hour 6. Let's take a break. When we come back on the other side, hey, we begin with news-making headlines.
Hashtag the weekend that was. On Sports Not Amplified with Andile, Metro FM. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sports.
The Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Black is back. The nominees for Best Duo or Group are Mafingizolo, Big Nas, Mellow and Sleazy, Questa and Gabza de Small, Ncube Nation. To vote, dial *120 *45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM, it's where you're at. Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Black is back. Share the Jägermeister, share the love, share the Amapiano. The best Amapiano artist is brought to you by Jägermeister. The nominees for Best Amapiano Artist are Deep London and Buhle, Hamba Wena. Gaba Canal featuring George Leslie and Russell Zuma, Hila Nhlizio Yam. Gabza de Small featuring Msaki, Kusela. Daliwonga featuring Mellow and Sleazy and MJ, Abomvelo. Wanitwamos featuring Master KG, Low Sheen and Nkosazana Daughter, Sofa Slahlane. To vote, dial *120 *45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Metro FM Music Awards Best Amapiano Artist. Brought to you by Jägermeister. Metro FM, it's where you're at. Not for sales to persons under the age of 18.
Share all the sporting thrills with Betway. Visit betway.co.za. Bet your way with Betway.
It's a jammed-packed week of football, kicking off with Leeds taking on Liverpool. Then tomorrow, Chelsea versus Real Madrid. And Napoli look to overturn the deficit against Milan. Get all the best odds at betway.co.za.
Bet on your favorite teams and leagues online, anytime and anywhere with Betway. Visit betway.co.za.
Hit us up right now on 060-552-7303. That's your WhatsApp line. Opening the calls at 1845 on 0600026160. Let's begin the show perhaps with some of the reactions from the weekend, starting with Coach Riviero speaking about amateurs.
They eliminate AmaZulu, they eliminate a team like Supersport. Now you can speculate about those games, but it is a fact that for us, for the top division teams, it's difficult to face these games because it's difficult. There's multiple reasons, psychological, technical-tactical as well, because it's a different way to play football. It's a headache, to be honest, and there's a proof. Today they were close again to eliminate Pirates.
And then, of course, Zwane speaking about what we said a little bit earlier, the excitement that we saw from Kaizer Chiefs executives, manager, etc., when speaking about facing Orlando Pirates.
It's not going to be like that as easy as everyone think, because cup games are totally different, to league games. But as I said, we treat every game, with respect, and unfortunately this one, it's not like any other game. There's a lot at stake. Once you meet Pirates, you're expected, to be on top of them and make sure that you win the game. So, I think the excitement comes from knowing that we're playing Pirates that is also doing well. That will be good for South African football as well. Not only about Chiefs, but South African football.
I mean, South African football loves their derby, so he's spot on there. He speaks about the venue as well.
Anyway, but unfortunately, the capacity, when you look at FNB, will always, especially the game of that opportunity, people will be coming from different, provinces, to come and watch this game. So I don't think other stadiums have got the capacity to carry the numbers. So, obviously, we don't want to go back to the days where we had Stampede in the past. So I think FNB, I'm not saying we should go to FNB, but what I'm saying, as things stand, FNB will be suitable.
But once again, Mazolo, before we go into the goals of the weekend, what was the PSL ruling on the derby? Can it move? I mean, we've seen it move before. We've seen it at Moses Mabena. We've seen it. What is the rule around that? Yeah,
you remember the judgment that came out after the April Stampede at Ellis Park was that the best venue is FNB Stadium. But as you say, over the years we've seen it move. There has to be quality control. There has to be,
a day game, I think, was one of the things as well.
A day game. I mean, we've seen a cup final play. I think when Stuart Baxter was there and they won the MTN 8, they beat Orlando Pirates at the Moses Mabena Stadium. So there's a lot of things that has to be assessed and looked at. But usually FNB and Moses Mabena of late have been the go-to venues for the Premier Soccer League in that regard.
Before we get into the goals of the weekend, remember, he is here, the referee, the principal is what we call him, to tell us about the decisions that were made over the weekend. But Mazolo is also coming with some of the big news. Chippa United, amongst others, have gotten a new coaching change. What else can we look forward to in a couple of seconds?
We're going to discuss the Mabena issue. Unfortunately,
Sundowns player Mabena.
You couldn't get the two sporting directors on the line. It was a matter of who must go first. So we still don't have anything on the record, but we'll have the latest on what has happened since that conversation.
Well, the Hollywood Bets Durban July is going to be above and beyond for the 2023 edition of SA's premier horse racing event on Saturday, the 1st of July at the Greyville Racecourse. This year's theme is Out of This World. And we'll see you travel through stargates to a world far beyond your imagination. Tickets go on sale on the 17th of April via Ticket Pro and Spar stores. Gold Circle, PTY, LTD and Hollywood Bets Superbook are licensed betting operators and support responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation is toll-free. Counseling on 0800 006 008. Here are your goals from the weekend.
Hayi no! Iparets ngabantu baphi na bankankazi nolchaza ligoli lenu. Yaza niyithandi nini joy. Anake phutbara masibe siyeka lenzeka yapha make siqale ngeli likaThembi Nkosi Lodge. Ngizawuncoma uThembi Nkosi Lodge apha. Ndithi ibhola ibinhle Orlando Pirates.
Bajahulubara malaka mo 18 khuleka bakotsi. Ke sabolela kgahlano le Paseka Mako United. E ba tjere metsotso e 33 Dondol Stars go le karkantshadino kgahlano AmaZulu e ba tjere metsotso e tshelelanye Orlando Pirates metsotso e mebedi fela.
Kavisa data khabindi chuqa au tap athe phola ke kwa ke teng taming tintole athe phola ke kwa ke kona msamphola xakela kwa kuikhama kwe ageda kwa kuikhama kwe kiyo na tintole athe phola ke kwa ke kwa phola awanwani
Ake siqale bonyana ke ake wenzakalani phakamise khona ke komekete moghaela ngakwaiti. Athisi twasa.
Bakahle bamxoli bamaqupho bekaphola isikosi. Yes! Loko kungari bukhuba inawo loko ungari nawo ayivumelelani leswaku imkhuba.
Phakamise utove ubuyela nemva. Thathwa iphela ngakwaiti. Iduma ngemva kwe-Athisi twasa. Ibuya kuThisi twasa. Yi-on goal kaThabo Matlaba.
Kuhla ukuthi akhwere kushura bekaphola bayirumela bahleli inhloko. Yes! What an own goal! Kaizer Chiefs bakumanyiko angari wakasithole Thabo Matlaba. Khando labra match utbambel khando labra Ncube uyahletha labra match. Wakaye kutheni match. Wakaye kutheni labra match. Nishayise labra kaPride. Sikhumbula labra 1966. Sikhumbula labra Jeff Hurst. Badlala nayilabra iGerman labra England wase. Mangizabra badlala neGermany wayilabra England. Lo mdlalo licross i-line. Azange licross i-line ngoba inkulumo mbekiswana lesa seminyaka engu-40. Liphakathi abikho phakathi senzo.
Libuya khona phakathi lapha ne-Est.
You got to love it. So the commentary team there of SABC Sport in the different languages. Now, the result from the weekend. Dondol Stars and Orlando Pirates playing to a stalemate of 1-1. It goes down to penalties. Orlando Pirates score all of theirs. 5-4 is how it ends. Stellenbosch shocking Mamelodi Sundowns. 2-1 is how that ended. Stellenbosch go through. Mamelodi Sundowns are out. Chippa United are out as well. Beaten by Paseka United by 2-1. Royal AM beaten by Kaizer Chiefs 2-1. That's how that ends as well. It's exactly 27 after the hour 6. Welcome to it. This is Sports That Amplified with Andile. Principal, we're going to go to you. I mean, at run about 40. What do you make, or what's going to be your focus really at what you're going to be looking at from the weekend?
Mzolisto forgot to say, the MTN 8 in Durban. I was the referee. It was a cup final. Stood as a final. I finally owned it. Stood as a final.
Who won, Gonj?
Chiefs ngekole yaka mashamayithi angazi uyithathe kanjani
ngekhanda
kancane nje ngibona eseniteni ngayibiza emoyeni.
It wasn't an offside nyana.
Hayi no ayikho.
Of penalty nyana.
Akuna benefit, akuna giving benefit advantage to the attacking team. It was just mina mayikore goal right ngibiza emoyeni.
I remember that goal.
Le wrong ya overrule sometimes ngoba ngiya overrule. Let's start with the good one.
I don't want you to say now because I want to go to Mazol. I just want you to give me a heads up. What are you going to be talking about? Which ones?
All right, we'll talk about Arrow Sundowns. There's something good that we need to upload to the referees. We'll also talk about Dondol Pirates. There's penalty there that is having a question mark that needs some clarity there.
All I want to know is,
And then
should
offside.
Mako have finished that game? That's all I want to know. But don't tell me now. Don't tell me now.
Okay.
Should Paseka Mako have finished that game?
Yeah, we'll talk about Mako later on because there's something he did. And we also finish with Baka Ncube. Baka Ncube ba driver.
My little brother.
Yeah, you
No, I spoke to him, but I'll tell you. I had a conversation with him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Mazol, what do we have going on?
The first story, obviously, we broke it this morning on sabcsport.com. Hlungwani Seema, as I had alluded to earlier last week on that Easter Monday when we actually wrote that story regarding Kurt Lenki's being redeployed to the development side of Chippa United. Hlungwani Seema, who had actually been the coach in charge of Peacemakers, it's a club affiliated to Chippa United, but they were playing in the ABC Motsepe League. They couldn't get promotion, unfortunately. Now, Coach Hlungwani Seema is going to be in charge, possibly assisting, working alongside Siabulela Gwambi. We still await the club for an official statement, but what I'm told is that Seema will be in the dugout when Chippa host Kaizer Chiefs on the 27th of April, which is Freedom Day.
He's got a tough job to do.
He's got a tough job to do.
When you look at the log and you look at what Chippa is and you look at current form.
Yeah, what... 4 games to go now for Chippa to avoid the drop. Obviously now Marumo Gallants beat them in what was a direct competition for that relegation dogfight that's going on at the moment. And Marumo Gallants were victorious in that game. They moved above. They have their fate in their own hands now, and Chippa are the ones in trouble alongside Maritzburg United.
26 points is what Chippa United are sitting on in 15th position. Maritzburg United on 24 points. And they've got a game in hand, though, to Maritzburg United, to Chippa United. If they're able to win that, it does mean that Chippa United will drop.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying, a lot of people keep saying it's crazy what the chairman is doing. On the flip side, a lot of people are also saying, well, we see why he's doing what he's doing.
4 games. You're bringing in a coach of 4 games.
It's crazy, Ma'a. It's crazy to think that the chairman can have had 4 coaching changes in one season. We had Dane Clate beginning of the season, Morgan Mamila, Kurt Lenki's, Sia Gwambi, now Hlungwani Seema.
Coach
That's
number
actually
5.
That's actually coach number 5 in
it's coach
in
number
the one
5, but
season.
it's the 6th or 7th change, because remember, he went and then he came back again, did Kurt Lenki's. So he's been in that position twice.
Correct.
So the coaching changes are a lot more than the coaching personnel.
Yeah,
even.
absolutely.
Well, let's see how he's going to do. Hlungwani Seema taking on a very difficult job with 4 games to go. Can he save Chippa United from what looks like to be a 15th or 16th position finish at the moment? But with one win and one draw, it does shoot them up. That is how it sits at the bottom there. What else do you have?
Another story we've been following up on is, as I alluded to earlier, Siyabonga Mabena, 16 years old. His age group, national team age group, is off to the AFCON in Algeria in next week, and coach Duncan Krawi, in fact, is announcing his final 21-man squad tomorrow at Safa House. Now, the big question here, Andile, is that will Siyabonga Mabena be part of that squad? He is their best player by far. I think we can all agree that, he was the top goal scorer and the player of the tournament.
Sundowns withheld.
Sundowns,
sending him to camp.
Sundowns withheld sending him to camp, but did put forward a proposal to say he can come after the Golden Arrows game, which was played on Wednesday last week. Because, the coach, I would assume, wanted to use him and have him play with the more experienced and senior players in the senior team, because he obviously, as you've seen at the moment, Sundowns have been rotating the squad, although the coaches probably don't like to use that word because they feel all players are important, but there are players who are on the fringes, and he's been rotating the squad, and he wanted Mabena to get game time, which he did play.
My issue then is this. Mabena goes to camp. He arrived, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Right?
He's got one day, which is today. Latest, yeah.
And then the squad must be announced. If Mabena makes it into that squad, what says all the other players that have been there throughout.
100%. I think a lot of people will look at it. Me personally, I'm also looking at it in two parts. The first part is that it's unfair on the players who arrived on the 10th of April for the 2-week-long camp under the watchful eye of Duncan Krawi to then make the selection to take the 21-man squad. On the other hand, my opinion, again, Mabena is by far the best player in that squad. So if he's available, he's fit, he's been playing with the senior team, getting some minutes, why not take him
The
to
precedent
the AFCON?
has been set, though. You're setting a precedent here.
True. Hence, I'm saying it's in two parts. You can look at it on the one side, it's unfair. You can look on the other side, saying he's the best player in that squad, and you do need him. They will suffer if they go to Algeria without Mabena, but Duncan Krawi will face the media tomorrow, and if he picks Mabena in that squad, I mean, he's damned if he doesn't, he's damned if he does. Because if he picks him, there will be questions about why pick a player that didn't show up. If he doesn't pick him, why not pick a player that's the best player in the squad?
Yeah, no, it's 6:33 on the Mighty Metro FM. We're just going over the news of the weekend. It's the weekend that was. In about 12 minutes, we're looking forward to your reactions from the weekend. Whatever it is that you want to talk about. There wasn't much in another sports this past weekend, was there? I was fully involved in football, including, of course, the EPL, the Premier League, that is. The difference now is 4 points at the top. That is the difference as we speak, with one game in hand that Man City have. And that one game in hand will be equaled when they play Arsenal, which means after Arsenal lose that match, which they will, it'll be a 1 point difference with 6 games still to play. Arsenal fans, have you started making peace with your shrink? Have you called your psychologist to tell him that the chair that you have left abandoned for all these years, you are coming to take it back? Because you thought you were healed. You thought that the source of your pain was gone. It has not gone. Arsenal has started to do what Arsenal do, which is to Arsenal.
You've preached on this so much. I've turned now to believe that Arsenal are going to Arsenal.
I thought it was crazy.
I initially thought this was going to be their year, but I'm looking at the recent performances now, and I think
Here's the thing about winning.
are taking it.
Here's the thing about winning. Winning is a habit. Once you win, that's all you know, right? But it's the same for the opposite. If you don't know how to win, if you don't know how to lift trophies, it's going to be exactly the same. I said this from 10 games in, guys, when I started saying this. Please, let's have that conversation. What else do you have?
Can I give you 2 more stories
Please.
as we wrap it up, Andile? The one big story coming out of AmaZulu. You might remember this guy or you might not. Joseph Vukusic.
Yeah, I remember Joseph Vukusic.
Who coached AmaZulu 3 years ago, got a 3-year contract. 3 months into a 3-year contract, he was placed on special leave and then later fired by the previous regime, the Sokela family, who then sold the club to the Zungu family. He's come back. Remember, he went to FIFA fighting for a settlement or compensation. FIFA ruled in his favor, but the amount, the coach was and his representatives were not happy with the amount. Andile Zungu had taken over and he said, yeah, we're going to settle it. Done and dusted. But what Coach Vukusic then said, because remember, because he's a foreigner, he can bypass the laws here in local football
and go all the way
to the World Football Governing Body. And now he appealed the FIFA decision. He wanted a bigger figure, a bigger settlement figure. He went to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and they've now ruled in his favor, and they've given AmaZulu 30 days to pay. I tried to get the full figures of how much he's owed, but you can just do the maths. He signed a 3-year contract. You can just maybe guess thereabout he was due a 3 or 4 months settlement amount in case he got fired before the contract ended. So now KES has ruled in his favor, and if AmaZulu do not pay, they either face a FIFA ban, which could be not a transfer ban, or they get docked points.
Jeez.
That's the current situation. So AmaZulu, as it stands,
because when you buy a team, you buy it with all, this is FIFA standpoint, you buy it with all its debt, you buy it with all its problems, its challenges. Swallows recently went through something very similar.
Yes, they actually did
so
not.
AmaZulu owe money they know nothing about.
So AmaZulu have,
or the Zungus anyway.
The Zungus, when they took over, they did acknowledge that there is a case where the previous owners have assured them it's been settled. I myself actually spoke to Lunga Sokela, who guaranteed me that the coach will be given his money, but the coach then took it on appeal, went to FIFA, went to KES, my mistake, and KES ruled in his favor just on the 10th of March, and now he is waiting for his money. If it's not paid, AmaZulu either get a transfer ban or they get docked points. That's a big story that we have to watch over the next coming days with regards to what AmaZulu are going to do. And then now the last story, we broke the story on sabcsport.com that Given Msimango, the captain at TX Galaxy, is off to Kaizer Chiefs next season. A teammate of his, left back Tsegofatsa Nyama, is also going to leave. He's off to Cape Town City. The two clubs in advanced talks with regards to what happens there. It's a matter of, crossing the I's and dotting the T's, and that deal should go over the line. I don't see how it wouldn't be as of the 1st of July. So that's another player that TX Galaxy are likely to lose. And we know the chairman, he has confirmed in other media outlets that the business model of TX Galaxy is to also sell their players so that they can rebuild from the ground up.
Is he taking interviews now?
Well, it depends. Yakadi name. If your surname is Ncube, he's not taking your call.
Apparently, if your surname is Ncube, you're also faking penalty calls. For those of you who know, I've always been very open about this. My younger brother, my little brother, plays for Sekhukhune. He was in that game when they did a play over the weekend, in the Nedbank Cup. He had a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. I was doing the game. I was excited. I thought he'd score his third Nedbank. He's the leading goal scorer at Sekhukhune as far as the Nedbank Cup is concerned, with 2 goals. I thought he'd score his third, and it wasn't to be. He was fouled in the box. The referee says he's lying. I spoke to him. I spoke to him personally as a brother, not a football. I'll show you actually, because I spoke to him via text. So I'll show you what my beloved younger brother said. Let's take a break.
This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
Listen, who is the best foreign player ever in the PSL history? Moreno. Is it easy?
Yeah.
Who?
Collins Ntofo Mbizu.
Over Chuku?
Listen.
Over Musona?
Fitumba.
Over Fitumba?
Oh, man.
Chuku is Rafael Chuku. Morena.
Listen.
You can't.
Morena.
Listen.
No.
Lindelwa Moyo, member of the team Opta Jabu.
Roger Fitumba, he won every single game in which he scored. Secondly, I had Knowledge Musona here, who he didn't play too many games, testament to how good he was.
6 o'clock. Top of the hour.
Because between 6 and 7, yes.
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sport. Let's go.
Metro FM Music Awards 2023. Black is back. Share the Jägermeister, share the love, share the AmaPiano. The best AmaPiano artist is brought to you by Jägermeister. The nominees for best AmaPiano artist are Deep London and Buhle, Hamba Wena. Gaba Canal featuring George Leslie and Russell Zuma, Hila Nhlizio Yam. Gabsida Small featuring Msaki, Kusela. Daliwonga featuring Mello and Sleazy and MJ, Abomvelo. Wanitwamos featuring Master KG, Low Sheen and Nkosazana Daughter, Sofa Slahlane. To vote, dial *120 *45787 hash. USSD rates charged at R1.50 per minute. The Metro FM Music Awards Best AmaPiano Artist, brought to you by Jägermeister. Metro FM is where you're at. Not for sales to persons under the age of 18.
Can you see what I'm seeing? The DSTV Premiership action is on a real uphill. TS Galaxy is gunning for a win. But Royal AM, Yakoloza. The Rockets want a safe spot in the top half. Meanwhile, Twititwata believe victory will elevate them closer to the good life. This is Ibola Letu. Drama. Beke. Catch TS Galaxy versus Royal AM on Saturday, 22 April at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC1 and SABC radio stations. Hashtag We Love It Here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
The Metro FM Music Award tickets are now available at CompuTicket and all CompuTicket outlets. Get yours now and be there to experience South Africa's biggest awards ceremony at Mbombela Stadium on the 6th of May. Tickets start from 150 rands. The Metro FM Music Awards 2023, brought to you by the Mpumalanga Provincial Government. Visit and explore Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. MMA 23, Black is back.
At work, at play, online and on the air. Watch out! Check us out at Metro FM SA on all the socials. Metro FM, it's where you're at. This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile.
Nadim Lukele, who is the best foreign player to ever play in the PSL era?
International Ngomashe for me is number one. I can't say by a distance because there have been great players like Williams of Pirates. For me, it has to be number two. He was solid at Pirates. I'm a fan of Tiko playing for a team like Jomo Cosmos, where you defend. Immediately the game starts, you defend.
That's incredible.
Exactly.
Pro Pilane, pro?
Let me give you my first name. That will be Denis Onyango on my list. Number two, Rafael Chukundukwe. And the number three would definitely be Wilfred Mukeya.
Onyango is not even in the top 20. I pulled Kennedy Mwene ahead of him.
Ukuthathela uCherry.
Cherry.
Ukuthathela ekenye.
Cherry yase Uganda.
Ukuthathela ekenye. Let's go.
This is Sport Night Amplified, powered by SABC Sports. Let's go. We gon' get connected. WhatsApp the Metro FM studio. 060-552-7303. Call the Metro FM live studio. 0860-002-160.
We're going to be taking your calls in a bit, but firstly, let's quickly go to the referee. He's called the principal. Victor Hlungwani is with us. Vic, from the weekend, what do you have?
Firstly, I need to start with the good news. Mazolisto was talking about under 17 going to Algeria. Two of our referees, Jeli Waitaba Castad, Chavan, he's going to Algeria. Kulmisi French at Tranqui Monami. And then Ohamba no Akona Makalima, they are going to Algeria for working under 17. So when they are selected, we'll see them officiating there. That shows South African Football Association Referees Department is doing a good job. Let's move.
How good was their job this past weekend?
And
both those were in action, both of them.
Yes, Jelly had a good game in Durban, in Chatsworth, Chiefs and Royal AM. No complaint, party problem, good game, ball match.
That penalty, there's no argument. I know we're saying Chiefs get penalties. They do, but no argument and no doubt. That was a penalty.
No doubt. That's why he's going to Algeria.
Okay.
I don't think that has anything to do with it, but okay, principal.
Yeah, let's go to another one. There's Arrows Sundowns, 90th minute. There was a ball played by the Sundowns number 24, which went to a player in an offside position. Assistant referee flag for offside, but the referee Buhle Jobela did not blow the whistle. That was 90 minutes, critical moment of the game. He did not blow. That shows courage and character by the ref. That's what we want to see. If the assistant referee is wrong on point of law, correct it on the field of play, because we don't have VAR in South Africa. I did it against Sundowns Chippa. I overruled my assistant. So Njobela, correctly so, did a good job by overruling that decision. Let's go to Nedbank now. We have Dondol and Pirates. 26 minutes, we saw Mako there kicking Teboho Makungo inside the penalty area. Penalty was not given. We'll show it on Soccer Zone. There was contact, so penalty was supposed to have been given. We go again to Mako. Hey, this weekend was Mako. Mako on the 34th minute, he basically did what we call violent conduct. Violent conduct, it's when a player uses brutality against an opponent when not challenging for the ball. So he literally kicked an opponent next to the touchline, in which a card should come out. And when you talk of violent conduct is a red card. So you can't do that to a fellow opponent.
So Mako shouldn't have finished that game.
It's daylight that he was supposed to have been sent off for violent conduct. The way he acted. So those are the highlights. Then we go to Sekhukhune and Chippa, where we're talking Ncube here. Ubrada.
So hold on. So there should have been a penalty conceded by Orlando Pirates?
Yes.
and he should have gotten a yellow card there. And then he went outside and he kicked out, so there should have been another card at least.
No, let's go for yellow for the kick.
Yes.
We can't give a yellow because there he's challenging for the ball. He's deemed to be challenging for the ball.
So the penalty would have come with just a penalty and no further punishment.
Yes.
And then the kick outside?
The kick outside, yes, it's violent conduct because the ball
That's
was
a straight
not in
red.
play. That's a straight red.
Should have walked.
That's a straight red because he's not challenging for the ball. So why kick somebody?
And he apologizes after because I think he realized what he had done.
He was just lucky. I don't know, will ZCC over the holidays to get some lucky because some people are lucky on the field of play.
Okay, well, now here's the one that I don't want to be a part of, but I have to be because this is blasphemy.
Yeah,
I know the Ncubes. I know them well.
Yeah, let's go to the Ncubes. We see Sekhukhune Chippa, Nedbank, 73 minutes. I still have the time. There was simulation there. The referee, Tando Nzanzeka, in close proximity. He could see that there was no intention by the keeper to kick Ncube. He could see that there was no contact with impact that will have stopped Ncube from moving past. Ncube just took a dive. Unfortunately, you could see the signal from the referee, but no card came out. So in those situations, we recommend to our referees that FIFA says if you are sure that this player simulated, he deceived you, a card must come out. Must be cautioned.
Yeah.
And it happened in another match where another player simulated, but there was no card. So referees need to stamp up their authority in that regard and caution players who deceive the referee by feigning injury or pretending to have been fouled about the yellow cards.
So the verdict is that Ncube is...
No, hold on. I've got Ncube on the line. Ncube also happens to be my little brother, Vusumuzi Ncube. I've got him on the line because I spoke to him after that game. I was doing that game.
Yeah.
So let's take him. Let's take Vusi.
Hello.
Ukraine's Kachekesh.
Grandwena.
I'm good. You're live on Metro, boy.
Okay, cool.
I've got the referee here, Victor Hlungwani.
Yes.
He says that incident when you were in the box and the keeper tackled you in the box. He says he didn't touch you.
Aro David.
No, there was actually a touch. You can even ask the goalkeeper. There was a touch.
A touch does not mean that it's a foul. A player using a small touch to deceive the referee is guilty of simulation.
But he touched him.
A touch is not a foul.
At high speed.
A touch is not a foul.
Okay, let's hear it. Vusi, when you say touch, what is touch?
Touch must have an impact.
Did it impede you in any way?
Yes.
Touch.
Yeah.
And scored the goal.
So you think if he hadn't touched you, you would have kept going?
Yes, I could have kept going.
Mara, why would die? Why would die? Why was
I'm going to protect my brother now. End this call. Vusi, thank you so much for talking to me. He hates phone calls, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Penalty.
No, we want to touch. We are dive. Touch is not a foul. There's
but
no
we
way.
always say when somebody's in high speed, a slight touch takes them off their route.
Andile, there's no way in the loss of the game where they say touching is a foul. Kicking is a foul.
No, they say contact. They say contact, right?
No, contact must have an impact.
So how do you measure an impact when you're not when one of the
there was
team?
obstruction.
And we don't have contact as a foul.
He was obstructed.
We don't have contact as a foul.
What
we
is
have
it?
Kicking an opponent, tripping an opponent, holding an opponent. So now when you say contact is a foul, no, it's not
He
a
was
foul.
obstructed.
So you must mention all these things, whether it was kicking,
He was
tripping.
obstructed.
There's two things. It's either kicking an opponent or tripping an opponent. Was it tripped?
It's 6:51. Let's take your calls and your voice notes on everything that we've spoken about. And as we do that and I wait for it, for Arsenal fans, I thought I should play you this from the weekend. These are the goals from the Arsenal game. No. Timmy, you should have started them from after 2-0. We should have started and played just the last two goals. But here they are.
Saka, Partey, it was a clever cushion layoff. This is excellent from Arsenal. Brilliant. Gabriel Jesus. Pressure. What pressure? 6.5 minutes in, and the Gunners take another significant step. Tierney back for Martinelli, showing no ill effects of that knock that he picked up. It's a great ball in. Odegaard makes it 2. A lightning quick start from Arsenal. And for West Ham, it's all going wrong again. Now given away by Partey. Rice playing it back. Penalty. West Ham have the chance to throw themselves a lifeline.
Well, in the first couple of minutes, Declan Rice really pushed in.
Scored at Arsenal earlier this season. Can he score against them again? He can. Half an hour of Arsenal dominance, but they now only have a 1-goal lead to show for it. Good ball in towards the near post. It took a potentially potent flick as well. Big appeals for handball, and the referee's going to give a penalty. Mikel Antonio, the West Ham player involved. This to give Arsenal a 3-1 lead. He scored them all in the Premier League this season, but he hasn't scored that one when it really mattered. Misses the target. The next goal in this game, the way that it is set up at the moment, absolutely crucial. Not necessarily just to what happens today. It's a good ball over the top. Aaron Ramsdale appeals in vain for an offside flag that doesn't come up. Bowen arrows one in. It's another pivotal moment.
It was such a pivotal moment. Arsenal fans, do you still believe? Taking your calls over the next 7 minutes of what we have remaining here. The referee and my brother, they're taking all their time. Who do you believe? The Ncubes have always been such honest people, though. That's all I've got to say. Penaltinyana. I am not sure. Let's take your call, starting off with Yanga, who's out in Cape Town. Yanga. Talk to me.
I'm disappointed. I'm a Orlando Pirates supporter, you know. What we've been, you know, put through, you know, like our high blood, we're high, I mean.
Why? You won.
You are through to the semi-finals.
You're in the semi-finals.
But guys, we should have wrapped up the match in 90 minutes, yeah. I mean, we're playing with a team that is on a lower division.
Amateurs,
you know.
It's the same team that beat Supersport United and AmaZulu.
But we are not Supersport United, we are Orlando Pirates.
Hey!
Fair enough.
You know, I mean, you know the amount of high pressure, because I mean penalties are like lotto, you know. And I was like,
why didn't Lodge take a penalty?
I mean, I'm disappointed with the team because Lodge, he was giving a header, you know, and just placed the ball and score, and then he just kicked it above the post. I mean, like, guys,
Yanga. I must be very honest. I hear you. I think you need help. You need professional help. I can hear it in your voice.
And another thing, you know, Kamit Erasmus. I mean,
he gave the pass that gave the goal, a brilliant pass at it. He came on
in an offside nyana position.
But no,
so you're saying Nadim was right?
We can't have a strike. I mean, when last did he score? You know, so thanks for his service. I think how many
where's Dumisa Mabena?
Guys, you know,
Yanga, let me let you go. I can hear you struggling. Thank you so much. Let's go to Jimmy. Jimmy, what a young weekend.
The weekend that was when I'm going to go to and I got you with the Andile, global jealous.
I said jealous, man.
Andile, jealous, remember.
When a winning weekend, the import.
The referee there, the guy now.
Oh, they're not so wise men.
My brother.
Andile.
Yeah.
Yes, Kaiser Chiefs, you win, but Andile, I'm not satisfied.
Why?
We didn't even make 10 passes. 10 passes only, Andile. To breathe. Ne? Le Doli. Doli ball, Andile. Doli nagradi ball. Hatonsa a square. Otora ball. Obisis. Motonsa a passe. Oish, Andile. Where's it going? Ergo Andile. They can complain about us as well. There's nothing wrong with us. I'm so disappointed with Doli and Dupris. Those are professional players, Andile. Even 10 passes only, Andile. 10 passes. Mazwala, when are we going to
Mazwala, I'll let Mazwala speak now. Thank you so much to Jimmy. Let's go to Simlindile out in Cape Town. Simlindile. Hey, talk to me.
Yes, I'm a Bucks fan, bro.
Are you happy to be meeting Chiefs? Are you happy with how they won against Dondol?
I'm not happy how we won the game or how we played. I'm happy we are through to the semis. And I can promise you, Chiefs is going to beat us again.
Why? Where's the confidence? Where's the confidence?
You must remember, the way you play determines your future. How you play is how you're going to get the results. Look at Pirates. There's no structure. There's no system there.
I'm surprised Pirates fans are so negative, man.
Simlindile, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm not negative, bro, but it's really all right.
I'm surprised Pirates fans are so negative.
Let's go to Lusanda. I'll take Urleni. Lusanda. Lusanda, are you there? Hey, talk to me, man. Itaola. Yo, anguza kaselusana ndifuna ukuyizwa ipoint yakho man. Move the phone a little bit away from your mouth. Yeah.
We shouldn't send the plan out to Steve Parker. He's one of the best coaches in South Africa.
You know what? I'm going to end it there, Lusanda, because I can't hear you clearly. But what I do hear is you're saying Steve Barker, and I agree with you. Yeah. When you look at, but also you got to give Stellenbosch the benefit of a doubt here. Yeah. They kept him on when he wasn't winning a game, 9 games in a row, I think it was. Yeah. We had him on the show here, and he said he's going to turn things around, and he did exactly that. Mzulu nganaqala.
Hey, Lipara.
Hey.
The weekend it was.
No, Maganjan. Hey, Ongele, before you comment, do you believe the referee or the Ncubes?
I don't. I was watching this game. I was watching this game. That was a penalty for me.
Thank you. The Ncubes. Thank you. Talk to me, Mzulu nganaqala.
I want to comment about the guy who called on Ngipakania Mapramela. This guy who called Yanga.
Yeah.
Who sounded so...
I think people must start watching soccer and then stop listing off his favorite players, because now he's blaming Erasmus, but Erasmus was a difference in that game.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Erasmus came on and then he made a difference in that game. I don't understand if you blame Erasmus because he's a striker, but then he came on and then made those passes. He gave Lodge 3.
But you have to agree with him on one point. He says you bring a striker in to score goals. How many has Kermit scored?
But then in that game, he came on, he gave Lodge 3 passes. Lodge didn't score 1.
Yeah, no, it seems the Orlando Pirates thing is bigger than what I thought. I didn't expect this reaction from Orlando Pirates fans.
True. Kermit's stats don't make for pretty reading. 3 goals in 17 games since he signed from Sundowns.
3 goals, 17 games.
Okay, right because it's not the first time he came on and changed the game. I think it's the second time this season doing that.
So the role of being the feeder is what you're enjoying. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Your last one,
yeah. Yeah, and let me speak from authority on the loss of the game.
You can catch him a little bit later on Soccer Zone this evening. Mazola, your last one? Anything we can look forward to this week? Any big breaking news you think we should watch out for?
Yeah, look, I'm working on a story with regards to, there's movements with regards to a Dondol Stars player who's being tracked by one of the Premier Division sides. I'll have that story. There could be the latest on All Stars possibly having buyers in the coming future.
Appreciate it. She's looking absolutely fantastic. But like I always say, she might look good, but the best thing about her is that brain of hers. Absolutely fantastic is Faith Mangope. Faith, I wonder how much is there to make of the fact that, and this is the breaking, obviously the big story, how much do you think there is to make of the fact that Thabo Bester and Nandipa's father have different lawyers? The two have the same lawyer and he has a different one. Are we expecting that there's going to be maybe a difference in defense here?
I think more than anything else, I think they're trying to get, so not to almost convolute issues, they're trying to get Nandipa the best kind of defense as possible. And I think a lot is going to need to go into proving her, or if you had to ask me, I think the best way of defending her would be to say that she was a victim too. And I've been saying that the best thing that you can ever think about in terms of defense would be, no, she was a victim. She was also scammed. She was held under duress. He threatened her family. He threatened to kill her. He threatened whatever. So I think more than anything else, the people that win here are the lawyers. Because I tell you one thing, the lawyers and the
100%.
advocates are going to be making a lot of money. And to be honest, this is not a case that's going to wrap up now. This is one of those cases where it's going to be where you're going to witness. It's going to be a public spectacle. And more than anything else, the NPA does not want to mess this up because we already have got public scrutiny and international scrutiny. As soon as I saw this on CNN and BBC, I think South Africa understands that if they fumble this, the world is watching. And it's watching the way in which our justice system is educated enough to be able to make decisive action. So it's going to be a big one. But the different conversations are coming out of that.
And also, my other big wonder, and then I went and I tried to look it up, but I just didn't have enough time between this and football, is the laws around covering of faces in court. Because I would have thought that as you can't wear anything on your head, there's a respect that goes with being inside a court that says you shouldn't be able to be in there fully covered. And it took me back to a story of somebody said to me, Flabber's girlfriend, who, and her name slips me now.
Yeah.
You can bump into her in the streets and you probably don't know what she looks like because she was covered that entire trial. There aren't any laws against you just pitching there however you do. You can put a full mask on.
Well, yes, and then the only difference here is that, I mean, if you saw what happened.
That was her name. Yes.
Yes, when you saw what happened in court, and the reason why they insisted on showing her face this time around was because she is a flight risk, right? We've seen this. There's evidence that she's a flight risk, and because there's evidence that she's a flight risk, people want to make sure that indeed the person that is before them in this court of law is indeed Nandi Pamakutuman. Again, because the world is watching this one, I think the NPA is doing the best that it can to dot the I's and cross the T's. How it's going to pan out, how a defense team is going to work this out, I'm hoping that Thabo Besta's little change that is got stashed up somewhere is able to help her when it comes to this particular case. But it's more than anything else, I think it's just about our justice system and the way that it works. That's a big question now.
Hey man, the reason I can quiz her on this because this is what she does all day. So by the time she gets here at 7 o'clock, she's just delivering what she's been practicing, what she's been doing absolutely all day. That is a Faith Mangapa. Faith, what do you have going on?
In fact, you're going to speak about that. And you know who we're going to speak to today? We're going to speak to the Portfolio Committee member on Justice and Correctional Services, DAMP Glynis Breitenbach.
She's become a social media sensation, hasn't she?
Advocate Glynis Breitenbach is in conversation with us this evening. We're talking about the privatization of correctional services facilities because there's a bigger conversation here. G4S is a multinational company, a British multinational company, right, that has managed to get and one of the contracts that I was looking at, I think it was in 2013, they have something like a 25-year contract in South Africa.
Yeah.
Why? Right? And more than anything else, what is the thinking behind the privatization of our correctional services facility?
There should not be profits for something
why
like
is it that why is it that a multinational is coming in and running these organizations, right? And what does it mean? So she's going to clarify some matters for us this evening, the good advocate. And then we're going to go from Glynis Breitenbach. We're going to speak to Celia Brink, Tshwane Mayor, because the city of Tshwane has failed to actually pass through a budget. Now, if you do not have a budget, you can't spend the budget. They don't have a budget. It means that people once again in Tshwane are in limbo. So we're in conversation with the executive mayor, Celia Brink, a little bit later on. And then the city of Cape Town, though, is becoming more innovative. They're raising about 1.2 billion rand in a solar project. We're going to be in conversation with the city of Cape Town mayor, Jordan Hill-Lewis, about who funds this and how's the funding. It's very interesting about where the money is coming from. But the question is about what about the return on investment for those that are investing in this project? What are they getting out of it?
That's
going to be
a very good question.
What are they getting out of it? Because it is funded, and it's funded by even embassies. We're going to talk a little bit about that later on. And then you would have seen President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed the electoral amendment bill into law, which means that it's now going to be enacted. But that means that the candidates that are independent can run as independent candidates. It's not that simple. There's a whole issue around the funding of candidates, how they are independent candidates are actually represented in Parliament, and we're going to get the clarification from the CEO of the IEC, Simon Mabula, is going to be with us, and then we're also going to get some clarity from an actual electoral expert. And then after 8 o'clock, this is a personal thing for me. We're going to talk about the state of our education system in this country.
I said personal, I got excited there. I thought you were going to share your skin regime or your dating 101.
That is a conversation for after 9 o'clock, not between 7 and 9. After 9 o'clock, we'll talk about my skin routine. Yeah, but then, it's going to be a jam-packed one as always. It's going to be good. We're going to have different representatives from the Department of Basic Education, including, of course, with the Equal Education, talking here about how do we start jacking up our infrastructure so that our kids can actually get the education, quality education that they deserve.
Well, I'm excited to hear all of that. And, of course, they said it's going to help with one stage of load shedding. And I wonder, the adverse, when you look at what it is that those are going to be getting, is it worth, when the country's on stage 3 for you to be on stage 2? Is it really worth it? We'll have that conversation, of course, carry on right here on Metro FM. It's the mighty Metro FM from all of us. The Monday team, it's such a huge team. Don't have the time to mention all of them today. Pella, and so me.